BMO ETFs have partnered with investors for over a decade.
Welcome back to Strictly Money. Most parents appreciate the importance of teaching their kids about money because they know, as hard as it is for them to save and plan for a secure retirement, it will be even harder for younger generations. But knowing what to teach their kids, well, that's easier said than done. That's why I'm pleased to have Robin Taub as my next guest. She's a professional speaker and the author of the book, The Wisest Investment, and she's here to share her tips for making your child financially capable. Hi, Robin. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I have to say, I've wanted to cover this topic for a long time because I run financial education programs for women and also employees. And the one comment that I hear constantly is, I wish my parents had taught me about money. Why is it so hard? Why are there so many challenges in doing this?
I hear that comment a lot too when I tell people what I do. And there's a number of challenges that parents face. One is feeling like they don't have the knowledge to teach their kids. They're just not good at this themselves, and they find it awkward and they're embarrassed. And another issue is that people feel like they don't have the time or the opportunities to teach their kids about money. They're running busy households, they're working. It's just difficult. They feel like it might be difficult to find the time to have these conversations.
Yeah. And what do you tell them? Learn together? I mean, that's often what I suggest, that there's an opportunity to do this together.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the idea behind the book, is to, it is a way for parents and children to learn together. And parents don't feel like you have to be perfect or a professional in the financial area to do this. There are some very basic things that everybody needs to learn about money. And I call those the 5 pillars. So earn, save, spend, share, and invest. And the trick is just to make sure the information that you share with your kids is age appropriate. So that deals with the knowledge piece.
Yeah. Robin, how much does this perception that talking about money is impolite, that we shouldn't do it, how much does that play a role in kids not being taught?
It does play a big role because there's still this notion that talking about money is taboo or crass. And for that reason, I think some parents just shy away from it. The other reasons we've just talked about, they're not doing a great job. Or even on the other end, if the family has a lot of money, there's a lot of awkwardness around that too. When do we share that information? How do we make sure our kids aren't spoiled or entitled? So, I think it's just one of those conversations that can be awkward for parents. And so they just tend to avoid it.
Yeah. Values, right? I always feel like, it really does come down to values, and money is just a manifestation of those values. How does a parent start by being a good role model when it comes to that?
Yeah, those are actually 2 strategies that I raise in my book that are related. So one way that parents can teach their kids about money is by being good financial role model themselves. And because our kids are aware of both the good and the bad behavior around the house when it comes to money and everything really. But so I try to encourage parents to get their own financial house in order so that they can lead by example.
Right.
And one of the pieces of that would be to be really clear about what your values are. And by that, we mean the things that are most important to you in life, that you hold dear and that you're willing to take a stand for. So when you're clear about your values, they can act as an invisible framework to help guide and prioritize financial decisions. And you can make your kids aware of your values as a family and get them to discover what their values are too. And then they can connect those to some of their goals, because goals that are connected to your values are so much more meaningful and compelling.
Yeah, absolutely. How young should parents start? And walk us through some of the conversations or even just 1 or 2 teachable lessons that they can instill.
Sure. So as soon as your kid expresses some kind of an interest or curiosity around money, that's your cue that they're ready to learn. And if they haven't, I would say by around age 5 is a good time to start. That's when most kids are starting to attend preschool and they're around other kids and they see what other kids have and do, and they may start asking questions.
We have about 30 seconds before the break, Robin. Do you suggest that parents open a bank account very early?
Well, I think the best thing to start with young kids is, and I'll show you this multi-slotted piggy bank that I have.
That's
So
great.
it's really tangible. And with young kids, you're going to start with cash. But once they become around 12, they're preteens, then they can open a youth account. And yes, I do think that's an important first step or milestone, because it teaches your kids about why it's important to have your money safely in a bank, and that
Right.
they pay you interest on your savings.